What's going on, everybody? Merry Christmas. I am Andrew Houston with Myrtle Beach Aware, and tonight I wanted to bring something very special to my heart and to my family um, into your homes this evening and share a little bit with you. I am originally from a little town called Glen Rock, Pennsylvania, and since the 1800s, an organization called the Glen Rock Carolers Association has been walking the streets of Glen Rock from midnight until sunrise on Christmas Day, singing old Christmas carols. And these are old English carols. These this is a group of men. They dress up in top hats and capes and spread Christmas cheer with old English carols. And people come out from all over the country to follow these guys on Christmas Eve, and it's a very exciting time. The town of Glen Rock lights up one time a year, and that is Christmas Eve. So tonight, I want to share a little bit of the Carolers Association with you. This is a concert that they put on before they head to the square, which is the only stoplight in town, and begin the Christmas festivities at the square, where they will sing the initial songs and then move on and stop at every other street light and at various homes throughout the town of Glen Rock on Christmas Eve. We are very excited to bring that to you this evening, and we hope that you guys are ready to enjoy and can share in this Christmas festivity with me and enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to kind of link over here to the feed and move forward with that. So enjoy this evening. Merry Christmas, and enjoy the feed.
First thing I would like to know is there anybody? Many of you know that we start out at the only signal light in Glen Rock at the stroke of midnight exactly, and we walk throughout the entire town, taking us between 6 and 7 hours. And one of the things I like, and many of the members here, when we reach their home, they get to pick their favorite carol and step aside from the group and stand with their family on the porch or in the driveway or somewhere and share the music with their family. So this one is my favorite one. It's such a good song that we have to name it twice. And I'm going to ask my brother, my assistant, to come up and direct Hark, Hark. With a group of people that have been singing for 177 Christmases. And those people that know me know that every year I try to come up with something new that you haven't heard before, right? Or maybe if you heard it, you forgot it, that counts too, you know? Oh, I forgot that, I remember that. So what I'm gonna do tonight is to ask you to do something that you've probably never done before. One of our members, John Niccolo, wrote a song which describes how to spend Christmas in my hometown. If you've ever heard that song, it very well describes what goes on in this town on Christmas. And I'd like you to listen very closely to the words for what very well might be the original Christmas in my hometown. What are those soul-reviving strains which echoed thus from Salem's plains? What anthems loud and louder still so sweetly sound from Zion's hill? Hosanna in the highest. Thank you. Now, you've been seeing me up in front of this group since 40 years ago. This is my 41st year directing the group. And taking my father's advice when I took over the new position, he always says, if you want to make a whole lot of changes, he says, the first year or two you're there, plant a garden, see what comes up. And so I did that. And I waited 2 years to introduce a new song to the group. It was actually the first new song that the carolers learned in over 50 years. But in 1986, we began singing When Christ Was Born. mankind as in the scripture we will find, and this song we have in mind. In excelsis Gloria, in excelsis Gloria, in excelsis Gloria, and this song we have in mind. In excelsis Gloria. Thank you. The quote that I started out the evening with, that says, typically a group starts at midnight with Christians awake and ends many hours and many songs later with a rendition of the doxology, was actually on the liner notes to a CD that Linda Morris reviewed in a folk magazine in the year 2000. And it was through that CD and that particular quote that we've made our connections back to England. Because from 1848 to 2000, there was no connection. We didn't know that they existed, and they didn't know that we existed. We thought our guys came over here, started singing songs, at the end of that. But we reconnected in 2000, and we were invited to be the out-of-town singing carolers on the Festival of Village Carols in Sheffield, England in 2002. And we went, surprisingly. We don't even sing in Shrewsbury or Bonaire or different places like that. But we decided that we'd go to Sheffield, England and sing in 2002. And we were invited back 10 years later and went in 2012. And we were invited back 10 years later and went in 2022. And we brought back a couple songs as souvenirs of the songs that nowadays what they sing. And the first one was written in Eam. Ed Bailey will tell you all about Eam, E-Y-A-M. Something about the plague, I don't know. Black Plague, they never got the Black Plague, but everybody else did. And it was written in Eam, and it's sung in Fullo, another town that we sang in all 3 times that we were there. And this one is called Raise Christians, Raise. Of course, the other one we brought back was the next one, Awake, Arise, Good Christians. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce a representative from Zion Lutheran Church, Brenda Davis, if you're in the vicinity. Come on up. And our president for this year, Howard Daniels.
Yeah. Good evening. On behalf of the congregation of Zion, welcome. We're happy to have you all here gathered tonight. It was over a year ago that the planning started to create a limited edition print of the carolers singing in front of Zion. We then got together with Daryl Engler and Mike Thomas, and Mike, of course, did what Mike does and takes wonderful pictures. And go ahead. If you haven't already seen it, here's the picture. But Mike gave us lots of choices to choose from, and it took us a while to narrow it down to this print. Over the summer, the fundraising committee picked the picture, and Roger Butts digitally enhanced the picture to look like a painting. We then reached out to Jim Ream Jr. for guidance in printing. It was important to the committee to involve local people who know the importance of the tradition of Christmas in Glen Rock. And this brings us to tonight. Tonight, we want to thank everyone who has supported this project and in turn has supported Zion. Tonight, we also want to present a signed and framed copy of the print to the Glen Rock Carolers. This print is signed by Mike Thomas and Roger Butts. We do have prints still available tonight for sale. And again, we thank you very much and enjoy having you here every year after year. So thank you. And whenever we can get Jeff wrangled in, he'll give you the picture.
He enjoyed that.
Yeah, he did. He's our Vanna White of the.
You gotta wait till you're the president, and you can do it too. That will be going in the museum, folks. So if you have time someday and would like to stop in, talk to this gentleman and you'll see that you get to see what we've done. Now, it's my job as president this year to give a speech. Why? I became a caroler. Okay? So bear with me. It's only about 30 minutes. Okay, I've lived a pretty full life, 20 plus years in the military, 20 plus years at Tyco AMP, 10 years driving special needs wheelchair kids. And I felt that I needed to give a little more to my community. My first memory of the Glen Rock Carolers was Christmas 1958. I lived on Hanover Street, next door to Mr. Leroy Krebs. Okay? And I heard them, and my parents wouldn't get me up after that. But I also wish to honor, well, he got him out of order. That's okay. Took me about 40 minutes then. Every year I would lay in bed and listen for the carolers. 18 years ago, I joined. The first year I realized that the hills of Glen Rock did not wear down at all. And I got older too. So I used to run up Church Street 5 days a week with delivering the Gazette and Daily. I don't know who all remembers the Gazette and Daily, but and walking is hard enough, but I ran. Anyhow, part of being a part of something that has been around for 177 years is an honor and a privilege to sing with these fine gentlemen. Last but not least, we're down to the last 20 minutes. I also wish to honor our partners who have to deal with our absence on Christmas morning. When we get home, give them a hug and a kiss, sit down and fall directly to sleep. Okay? 20 years in the military, I know what it's like to have the wife in there too. So, tonight we'll go to tonight's offering. Can we get the offering a while? Tonight's offering will go to the three churches in Glen Rock, Trinity, where we rehearse, Zion Lutheran, where we are now, and Emmanuel. Thank you, sir. I'm getting old. My eyes are anyhow. For feeding us at the well. That's where the donations will go today. That's all I have, guys. Do you want me to talk longer?
guys. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Here we go again. We're halfway done. And we got to be out at the only signal light in town by midnight to start on the route. So I guess many of you here are here in person because you didn't find out you could watch it on TV. But we have, at last count, over 100 people out there somewhere in the world watching the live stream. And so we'd like to say Merry Christmas to all the people out there. The furthest one I saw is actually a member of the Glen Rock Carolers. Brent Crow is watching it in Japan right now. I did not see his name on the list, but we have somebody in Africa that's trying to get on there. I don't know if he's on there or not, but Reese Tolman. Anybody know him? Hi, Reese, if you're there. So we have over 100, and it will be available after tonight. So if you go to glenrockcarolers.org, there will be a link there that says watch the live stream. Well, it won't be live anymore, but you can watch it in the next couple weeks and find your favorite song, play it again and again and again. Linda. Okay. So what we'd like to do now is go on. When we were over in England, some of us went all 3 times. Some of us went 2. Some of us went once. Some of them haven't been there yet. Maybe they'll go in 2032. But what we found out is there are many, many different communities that do this. We think that we're unique in the United States, that nobody else does it exactly like this for 177 years. We found a similar group out in Grass Valley, California, that hasn't been doing it quite as long, and their traditions are a little bit different, and they don't sing only the Old English songs. But over in England, there are many, many, many different communities that sing these songs in the pubs. They don't go out on the streets anymore. Fulo still goes out during the day on Christmas Day, but they don't go out at night anymore. We don't know anybody over there that goes out at night and sings anymore, like the original quote said. But what we found out was each of those villages has a little bit different style, and they might sing the same words with a different tune or the same tune with different words. And we'd like to demonstrate our way of singing different words to a tune that you all know. We call it Ye Faithful. After Ye Faithful, it seems like the appropriate time to take a little break here and honor our faithful members. In 1998, we started wearing little pins on our outside costumes, and we have the little dangle bar down there that represents each 10 years of service. So we get a different bar for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And so we're going to honor 5 men who tonight get their bar for 10, 20, and 30 years. We have Josh Geipel and Ben Pruitt getting a 30-year bar tonight. Damian Kraut and Jordan Krebs are getting a 20-year bar. And Shane Bond is getting a 10-year bar. We also have some other guys at the other end of the spectrum who've been here more than 50 Christmases. Once you get to your 50th Christmas, you get a bar that says Life Member, and it has a little ruby stone in it, or costume jewelry or whatever. We got to ask her brother. Linda's brother deals with it. Okay. They're called a life member, and it would be all the people who have sung more than 50 Christmases. And we almost have perfect attendance tonight. We have 12 and a half of the 13 carolers here. I'll get to that pretty soon. But let's start with Glenn Daniels is singing for his 51st Christmas. Glenn Angler, 53 Christmases. And the trio of Tony Schuhart, Lauren Crow, and me singing for 54 years. Jack Crow, 59. And we have the class of 61, which I always call them. They entered this group by singing in 1961 as their first Christmas, which makes this their 64th Christmas. And there's 4 of them. Dennis Wirtz, Robert Crow Sr., Kenny Crow, and Larry Flemons, all 4 of them. Dave Garver, 66. And the half is Linda's brother, Charles Miller, who will be singing for his 69th year out at the Square. He's not in the building tonight. He's actually sitting in his car in front of Bixler's. And he said, "Wake me up when you go by." So Charlie will be singing at the Square, and then I think he's going home to bed. But Charlie will be singing for his 69th Christmas. Now, unlike Charlie, our most senior member is here. And if you catch up to us at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, he will be there with us. Don Sloniker is singing for his 70th Christmas. Now, Don calls me up a couple times a year, usually the day before Christmas Eve, and it's usually something stupid. Yesterday, it was about how he's planning on hiring a horse to take him around town tonight because he doesn't want to walk anymore now that he's been singing 70 Christmases. And he also named which caroler is supposed to follow with the shovel. But then I think this never happened before. Don got real serious, and this was not a joke, and he got real serious. I don't think he ever talked to me seriously before. But he said I should thank all of the young members who are coming along to take our places. And we wouldn't be here for 177 years without the support of the young people. And so Donnie would like to, and I would like to, on behalf of the 13 Life members and the rest of the group, thank the younger members who keep coming along and supporting the Glen Rock Carolers. Thank you. Speaking of younger members, we have an almost member tonight. We have Cameron Irvin, who many of you might know. I think he's a junior in high school. He's trying us out tonight. And he came along to all the rehearsals and learned all the songs. And he's going to see if he can make it till 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then he has 10 months to decide if this is something he would like to do for the rest of your life. This is, seriously, all the new guys get that story. You can try it out, and if this isn't your idea of having a good time on Christmas, say thanks and be on your way. If this is what you would like to do for the rest of your life, come out to rehearsal the first Sunday night in November, and we will vote you in as an associate member, and you'll be on the route to recovery. Okay, so we have a trial run this year, and hopefully maybe we'll have a new member. Now, at this point, we would like to remember all of the people who have ever sung with the Glen Rock Carolers. If you're on our website, on glenrockcarolers.org, there is a menu item that says scroll. Now, we have an actual scroll that the names of every person who has ever sung with the Glen Rock Carolers back to the original 5 is listed. How many years they've sung and from what year to what year. They're all on there. There's 344, including all of us. So at this point, we would like you to sit there and remember some of your favorite carolers of those 344 over the years. We're going to sing for you the doxology and remember all those people who have ever sung with the carolers. Please hold your applause at the end. Without further ado, let's go on to Glory to God, the first of our songs that was actually written in the United States, but to the same style as the English carols. Glory to God.
Glory to God, the angels sing. Over the earth their voices ring. Glad are the tidings now we bring. The Prince of Life is born. Glory, glory in the highest. Glory, glory in the highest. Glory, glory in the highest. Peace, goodwill to men. Bright are the angels both in one. Bright is the glory of that night. Brighter mangers welcome sight. The Prince of Life is born. Glory, glory in the highest. Glory in the glory, glory in the highest. Glory, glory in the highest. Peace, goodwill to men.
was almost a time when the tradition ended. In fact, there were two times. The first time, according to our history, was one of the early years. I think it was 1851, but it was somewhere around there. They had only been singing for 3 or 4 years. And the older guys, the ones on the statue out there, decided it was too cold and miserable to go out. We're not going out singing this year. And the youngest guy, he's all the way over on the right-hand side of the statue, George Shaw, who was 19 the first year, so he'd have been 21, 22 years old, said, I am not going to be responsible for this tradition ending. And he went out alone in one of those early years, so that the tradition would be unbroken back to 1848. The one caroler. If you look at our logo, this is the lone caroler. Now, it just so happens to be Linda's brother. The picture was taken in 1971, and it was transformed into our logo, but it is supposed to represent George Shaw, who went out one year and protected this tradition back to 1848. I often wonder, what if he decided to stay in too? Would they have gone out in 1852 and so on? No, nothing. No. Let's start over. Well, we'll wait a couple of years. So we might not even be singing here today if it wasn't for one member. The other time, of course, you all know, was 2020. When we didn't know what we were allowed to do. At the time, you were sort of taking orders from different groups of government officials, and Governor Wolf in Pennsylvania had declared that about 2 weeks before Christmas, we couldn't have any gatherings of more than 25 people. Look around. And so what we did was break up into two groups. One group started at the Star up on the hill. One group started at the Christmas tree where the monument is. And at exactly midnight, we both sang Christians Awake, Salute This Happy Morn, and began and did half of the town in 2.5 hours with no breaks. So if you lived in Glen Rock and you normally heard the carolers sing near your house, you heard it in 2020. And fortunately, we had the worst pouring down rain that I can remember, which kept all of you people inside your homes. Because if you'd have come out, we'd have been in trouble and get arrested. Can you imagine on Channel 8? Glen Rock Carolers arrested for having more than 25 people. Fortunately, it poured down rain. And most of the people stayed at home, stayed on their porches, stayed in the cars, cracked the window down a little bit as we walked along, and in 2.5 hours we did the whole town. So that, no problem there. So in honor of 2020, we have two songs we can sing to honor the tree group and the star group. We'll sing for you the Christmas tree, and we'll sing for you Beautiful Star. Christmas tree. Just for the fun of it, we have 2 minutes to kill. Who was in the Christmas tree group in 2020? Let me see a couple hands. There should be about 28 guys that were in the Christmas tree group. Okay, put your hands down. We're going to sing Star of the Morning. Who was in the star group in 2020? Should be 35 of those guys. All right. So actually, the governor's order was 25 people couldn't gather inside, 50 could gather outside. So we were okay with our 35. You know, as long as 15 onlookers didn't get too close to us, that was okay. So this is in honor of the star group, Oh Jesus, Star of the Morning. Probably the most common question I get, well, two questions when people ask me about the carolers is, how many carolers are there? And at the present time, we have 122 living carolers. That's of all the categories that I mentioned, 122. And the second most question is, what are they doing first this year? Meaning, what streets are we going in what order? When you go to the signal light, there's 4 streets. Main Street, Baltimore Street, Hanover Street, Manchester Street. And each of the 4 years, we start on a different street. And then if you know the first street, you know all the streets, because you always take a figure 8 through. The second time you get to the signal light, you go straight through. So if you do Hanover Street, then you come back Manchester, go straight through. So this year, we're going to start on Main Street and Church Street and do that whole Church Street hill. Come down Geipel Steps, those of you know the area, Geipel's Path and Geipel Steps, and go across the rail trail to the well, where we will make our first stop, compliments of the Emmanuel United Methodist Church. After that, we will go on the rail trail again in the other direction to the Rail Trail Tavern. No, we're not going into Rail Trail Tavern, to the Rail Trail Tavern, and then up Valley Street and Glen Avenue. And when we come down, we will go across the bridge and in Baltimore Street to the signal light, continue straight through, and our second stop will be at the fire company. After the fire company, we will go up Hanover Street, Cottage Way, Cottage Avenue, Glenview Road, Edge Hill Road. One guy lives on Ridge Avenue. I guess we have to go to his place. Yeah, it's is he making a face back there? And then Hillside Terrace and in Pine Street. And our final stop tomorrow morning, I estimate to be about 5:20 a.m. at the Legion, if we can get in the door. Those of you who've been by the Legion lately, the door's been damaged this week, and they have a plywood door there, but the sign on it says come in and close the door afterwards, so I guess it'll be okay. And then we will finish by going straight down Manchester Street and over to the Christmas tree and the monument, where we will finish sometime between 6:30 and 7 a.m., depending on the weather and depending on the crowd, with the doxology. So that's our route for this year. We'd like to thank the Well and the fire company and the Legion for having us in this year and giving us a rest stop. Now, Larry Flemons is our route committee, and Larry Flemons, all our committees only have one person on. So Larry Flemons is the route committee, and every year he arranges the route. It's not that he decides which one is first, that's sort of written in stone, but he talks to the people along the route, He walks the route several times during the weeks coming up to it and find out, where there's a new flower garden planted or somebody built a house in the middle of where we usually walk, because we do some fields and backyards and so forth. And he arranges for the fire police and the police escorts and the York County Radio Club, I believe they're called REACT. They walk along with us with radios and keep us safe all night. Larry is in charge of that. Now, it's well known, he reported at our last meeting, last Sunday night, that we walk about 6 to 7 miles every Christmas morning from midnight to 7. That's well known. What I didn't even have any idea was, he said he has an altimeter on his new watch, and he decided to log it one time when he was on his walk. And if I got the number right, Larry, correct me if it's wrong, I think he said it's 737 feet vertically that we go up and down. And yeah, you didn't laugh much. That's a 73-story building. If you put 10 feet in each story, that means in addition to walking 6 to 7 miles, we climbed 73 flights of stairs up and down every night. I didn't know that. Is that the right number, Larry? 740. Well, it's a 74-story building now. Okay. 74 flights of stairs in addition to walking 6 to 7 months. So that should be it. Softly, Sweetly is the next to last song, and then you'll send us on our way. Softly, Sweetly through the air.
Softly, sweetly through the air, hear the angels singing. Christ the Lord is born today. Peace on earth is bringing. Love divine in every good. Love excelling. Though we in the painful land, heart shall be his dwelling. Heart shall be his dwelling. Softly, sweetly through the air, hear the angels singing. Christ the Lord is born today. Peace on earth is bringing. Shepherds gather at his feet, loving hearts outpouring, while above the Holy One, angels bent adoring. They who worship Jesus there do not have the measure of the fullness of his grace, of his love the treasure, of his love the treasure. Softly, sweetly through the air, hear the angels singing. Christ the Lord is born today. Peace on earth is bringing.
Now, when I mentioned earlier in the program that we had a new song shortly after I became the director in 1986, and it was the first new song in over 50 years. That's because the song that we adopted in the 1930s was a song that's actually Austrian. Most people think it's German. And we'd like you to sing along. If you'd like to sing along to Silent Night, 2 verses.
Silent
Thank you for seeing us off for the 177th time, and we'll leave you with this message for a Happy New Year.
Well, that ends up being one of the best concerts to the start of Christmas that we've had in quite a while. I want to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas with your family, and we hope that you guys are able to enjoy and spend that time with your loved ones. As you can see here on the bottom, this has been dedicated in memory of my mother and my grandfather, who absolutely loved watching these concerts and loved the carolers and were there at the square. My mom would hold us on the front porch when we were little kids, and the carolers would sing right in front of our house. So this is dedicated to my mom and my grandfather, my pap. So Merry Christmas from them to you, from me to you. Merry Christmas. Enjoy your day. Spend time with family and don't take them for granted. Merry Christmas.